Hey, what's up guys? This is Junior Gomez speaking, and today I'm going to be showing you how I completed this mural from the beginning to the end, step by step, and just giving you some valuable tips and what I learned throughout this mural process. So, in taking this mural project, I had no idea what I was taking on, but I was so excited for it because the client gave me full autonomy to create what I wanted to create, but with a hint of what they wanted. And what I'm showing you now is where I created the mural. So it was on a step on top of a rooftop, and it was a tight space, but of course I made it work because I always make it work. And the first thing I always do when I create a mural is make sure that you protect your client's property as much as possible. So making sure that the tape is where you don't want any other paint to get on, and always protecting their floors, because you just don't want to get into a situation where you get paint on something that you really don't want to, and it's almost difficult to correct, and you just don't want that reputation. So always making sure that you have the tape wherever you don't want tape to be at, and making sure that your lines are crisp and that you always look out for the best interest of the client. On with this, I always have a tape measure with me along with the paint that I use. And the paint that I use is really like just Sherwin-Williams paint. And it's not anything specific, anything great, but it's the best paint that I know how to use. Of course, you have your brushes, and golden acrylics are my favorite paints that I love using. So with this, I'm using that. And frog tape is my favorite tape. I use that because it comes in all different sizes, and if I need to see through it, to cut through it, that's the best thing for me. And with these little cups are the best thing ever. You can find 100 of them on Amazon for about $20, and they store your paints for you. Posca pens, if you don't know Posca pens, they're acrylic markers that you can use your outlines. And as you saw with this tarp, I used it to protect my client's floors. And as always having a step ladder. Disclaimer, that was not my step ladder. That was the client's step ladder. I forgot mine at home. But always make sure you bring a step ladder with you once you bring everything to your mural location. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually just mixing the paint little by little and making sure that I have my colors correct. And something that I've learned throughout the process of creating murals is always mix your paints slowly, little at a time. You don't want to put too much paint because it's always hard to correct and go back. You may have to throw your paints out, as that happened to me many times. Thank God that my client had a type of awning where I can rest my projector in, and I used it to display my image onto the wall, and it worked out so perfectly. If I didn't have that, I would have had to have some type of a grid, doodle grid, or a straight line grid so that I can draw my design onto the wall. But thank God I didn't have to do it on this mural. It made the process a lot faster, and I was able to complete the mural more efficiently and in the due time that my client wanted the mural. And what I'm doing now is basically just tracing my outline little by little. And as you can see, I used white and black marker. And the reason why I like to use white and black is because you get to see the contrast. But the difference here is that I was creating clouds. And if you're creating clouds and you're using a white marker, you have white clouds, you're not going to be able to see your outline anymore. So I went over it with a black marker so that I can see the outline once I go over it with the airbrush, and making sure that those outlines are crisp once I go ahead and start painting the flower. And with this, I have my Iwata airbrush, and this is my favorite airbrush by far. To me, they are the leaders in airbrushing, and I love using their tools almost always just because they're just the great. They're just the best. And yeah, this is me going at it, airbrushing. And with the airbrushing, I honestly thought, I'm very optimistic when I go into murals, but I thought that the airbrushing would take me a couple of hours. It actually took me an entire day from 8 a.m. all the way till 6 p.m. that day. So it was a long day of airbrushing. My finger was killing me. And what I'm doing now is I am pulling out the cups to mix my paints for the different parts of the mural. and slowly just mixing the paints and using my iPad to get the colors right. And like I said, whenever you're mixing, make sure that you mix little by little, don't mix too much at a time. And every time you go to a mural or you create a mural, make sure you have a color wheel with you. It's gonna help you with understanding color, understanding how to mix your color, and just like variations of color. Say hello to my dog Esco. He was able to come with me one of the days when I did the mural. And this is me just going at it, just creating the bricks little by little, adding detail here and there, and just having fun with the project. Honestly, it was like one of the first projects I ever had to do getting to do bricks, and I was really happy about it just because, you know, brick is something that I grew up with in New York City, and being able to display it in my work of art was, you know, something that I was, you know, very happy about. So I'm just going at it again with paint, going at the flower, and this is like my variation of a wildflower. The client wanted a wildflower, but he wanted me to add my artistic touch to it, and that's exactly what I did. So here I am just going at it, having some fun with the project, and using color to make this thing as vibrant as I possibly can. One tip that I wanted to tell you guys is that when you're doing a mural, you may need a couple of layers of paint. So allowing your paint to dry and going back over it, because you're gonna see a lot of the streaks, and you really just don't want that. You don't want that reputation of doing a mural that just doesn't look the part that you would want to represent your work, and you just wouldn't want that work in anybody else's home. So making sure that you take your time when it comes to murals and giving yourself plenty of time, buffer time. You know, if you can't make it on a certain time, or if you think that you're being extremely optimistic about a mural and you can get it done quick, make sure that you give yourself at least 2 to 3 days of buffer time, just so that you can meet the client expectations. And this is the mural. This is it. This is the detailed version of it. I was really excited and happy on how everything came out. And to present this to my client, he loved it and she loved it. And yeah, I hope you like it too. So I hope you subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hey friends, so thank you so much for watching. Before I let you go, I want to give you some valuable tips on how I completed this project, what I learned, and how long it took me. This project took me a total of 4 days and a total of 28 hours if you want to be exact. And like I said, always give yourself a buffer. If you know that you can get this project done in a week, maybe give yourself a week and a half. Always make sure that you allow your clients to know a kind of an estimate as to when you're going to complete the project, and give yourself some time to rest if needed, and for any mishaps if they come up. Something that I learned during this mural process is to create some type of a mural checklist. And this mural checklist will be able to hold me accountable to know when I have to bring my step ladder, what type of brushes I would need, what type of paint materials I would need, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, make sure you have fun. So when you're creating a mural, it can be stressful, it can be a lot and overwhelming at the time, but make sure you have fun with this, because at the end of the day, it's art, and art should be fun regardless of how serious it is or how big the project is. Make sure that you really enjoy yourself and you're joyful while you're doing this, because that's when you're going to be creating your best work.